Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we are tackling a subject that is quite literally reshaping the future of how we learn, how we teach, and honestly, how we interact with knowledge itself. If you've been feeling a little overwhelmed by the sheer volume of news surrounding technology in the classroom lately, well, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're using a phenomenal sourcebook titled Artificial Intelligence: Key Concepts and Trends for Educational Innovation by Marcela Georgina Gomez-Zermeño. We're going to use her incredible research as our definitive guide to really understanding AI, not just as some flashy buzzword, but as a deeply disruptive yet highly beneficial agent in the world of education. So we're going to strip away the jargon, look straight at the facts, and figure out exactly what is happening behind the screens.
To ground our exploration today, I want to start with this truly profound quote highlighted in our source material from Dr. Margarita Zaria Fierro. She says, "To innovate from tradition, change is an inherent constant of human life." You know, as focused learners, it's so easy to see education as this fixed, rigid institution, right? Something rooted in chalkboards, heavy textbooks, and centuries-old methods. But this quote is a great reminder that education is actually a living system. It has to breathe, and it absolutely has to adapt. While it's deeply rooted in tradition, we inevitably have to adapt to technological evolution. AI is simply the latest and, yeah, maybe the most powerful catalyst for this inherent human constant of change.
Okay, so let's dive into this. To navigate this massive topic without getting lost, we'll follow 5 clear steps today. 1. The awakening of AI. 2. Historical milestones of technology. 3. Ethics and global regulation. 4. Neural networks uncovered. And finally, 5. Generative AI in education.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the awakening of AI.
Before we can really understand where we're going, we kind of need to understand why AI was brought into the classroom in the first place. You see, the ultimate gold standard of education has always been personalized one-to-one instruction, having a tutor for every single student. But scaling that to millions of people, that's historically been impossible. And that is exactly the challenge AI first attempted to solve when it entered the educational landscape. Now, as you can see, the digital ecosystem of artificial intelligence is incredibly complex and deeply interconnected. We're talking data nodes, processing pathways, and some really intricate digital frameworks. But hey, don't let this complexity overwhelm you. Our source material emphasizes that while education is a complex system of cultural integration and social mobility, the tech supporting it can be broken down, and together we are going to untangle this digital brain and see exactly how it practically functions to support learners.
Moving right along to Section 2, Historical Milestones of Technology.
When we talk about AI today, it can honestly feel like sudden magic, like it just dropped out of the sky a couple of years ago. But this is not an overnight sensation. The theoretical foundation actually started way back in 1943, when Warren McCulloch and Walter Pitts introduced the very first model of an artificial neuron. By 1950, Alan Turing was proposing his famous Turing test to measure machine intelligence. In 1956, the Dartmouth Conference officially initiated AI as a formal academic field of study. Jump forward to 1997, and we see the development of the very first intelligent tutoring systems designed for personalized educational support. Then, in 2006, Geoffrey Hinton and his team introduced deep neural networks, which was a massive game-changer. And that brings us to 2023 and beyond, where we have highly advanced adaptive tutoring systems actively reshaping classrooms today. So we're really looking at an 80-year evolution here, going from abstract math concepts to the practical tools sitting on your laptop right now.
To really highlight how far we've come, let's contrast the old with the new. Back in the 1970s, early educational AI relied on really rigid, rule-based techniques. It was essentially if this, then that programming to try and automatically adapt learning. It was highly limited by whatever rules humans could manually code into it. Now, contrast that with modern AI in the 2020s. Today, we rely on deep learning, interpretive AI, and personalized generative models. Modern AI doesn't just follow a static rulebook anymore. It learns, it interprets context, and it generates entirely unique responses. It's a massive, fundamental leap in what computers can actually do.
Which brings us to Section 3, Ethics and Global Regulation. So, as AI systems become more autonomous and more capable, there is a super urgent need for guardrails. We have to ensure things like academic integrity, data privacy, and equitable access for all students. 125. That is a stark, incredibly telling statistic from the 2023 Stanford AI Index cited in our source. 125 represents the total number of global norms and laws decreed to regulate artificial intelligence worldwide. It just goes to show that governments and institutions aren't just sitting back. There is an active, frankly frantic race across the globe to manage these risks and make sure this technology actually benefits society rather than harming it.
Now, what's really interesting here is looking at who is leading the charge. The United States currently leads this regulatory race with 22 specific AI laws passed. But right behind them, we see incredibly strong participation from European nations. You've got Portugal passing 13 laws and Spain passing 10. This data proves that regulating AI is definitely not just a Silicon Valley concern, it is a global imperative, and nations of all sizes are making it a huge priority.
This active construction of global frameworks is specifically designed to protect students, teachers, and societies at large from the potential pitfalls of AI. We're talking about things like algorithmic bias, rampant plagiarism, and a widening technological gap between the haves and have-nots. Our source text emphasizes that an ethical framework is absolutely crucial for using AI responsibly in education. Because, honestly, without these guardrails, we risk compromising the very integrity of the learning process itself.
Okay, let's shift gears to Section 4, Neural Networks Uncovered.
So, we know the history and we know the rules. But how does this technology actually work? Let's take a peek right under the hood. The core concept you absolutely need to know is the neural network. As our source defines it, a neural network is a computational model inspired directly by biological brains. Think about it. In your brain, you have neurons connected by synapses. In AI, you have artificial neurons connected via what they call weighted links. These links automatically adjust themselves based on the data they process, which allows the system to perform tasks more and more efficiently over time. By anchoring this abstract computer science concept to the familiar, biological idea of our own human brains, the mechanics of AI suddenly become so much easier to wrap your head around. In practice, this whole learning mechanism boils down to two clear steps that completely remove the mystery of machine learning. Step 1 is feed-forward. This is basically where information is fed into the system and passes straight through the network to produce a guess or an output. Step 2 is backpropagation. If the AI's guess was wrong, the system propagates that error backward through the network, automatically adjusting those weighted connections we just talked about to correct the mistake. Over millions of cycles, the network learns and becomes highly accurate. It's literally just trial and error, but operating at lightning speed.
And finally, we arrive at Section 5, Generative AI in Education.
Now that we actually understand the mechanics, let's look at the practical reality in the modern classroom. The ultimate goal of AI in education isn't just to use technology for technology's sake. The real goal, as core concepts like learning, innovation, and development highlight here, is to foster true pedagogical evolution. AI is meant to unlock deeper personalization, free up our educators from heavy administrative burdens, and create far deeper student engagement than was ever possible before.
So the crucial point to take away is that modern neural networks have evolved to the point where they don't just analyze data anymore. They can generate completely original content. Generative AI is being practically applied right now in education through image generation, allowing students and teachers to create highly realistic, custom visuals for their projects. It's being used in text generation, producing incredibly coherent writing that powers everything from personalized tutoring chatbots to instant language translation. And it's even being used in music generation, composing totally original tracks across different genres. This tech radically expands the creative possibilities and problem-solving tools available in any classroom.
We've journeyed all the way from the earliest concepts of artificial neurons in the 1940s to the global regulatory races and generative creative tools of today. It is crystal clear that education is undergoing a fundamental transformation. So, I want to leave you with this final provocative question to reflect on. As AI completely redefines the landscape of education, how will you adapt your own learning or your own teaching to thrive alongside it? Remember, the future isn't about human versus machine. It's about humans leveraging machines to reach entirely new heights. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.